message from a buddy who sent like a picture saying Aaron Rodgers wants to retire where he should have started, which is like San Francisco. And then he called it. And I'm like, that's every sports take ever, is when people are like, yo, I told you this was going to happen. Like, every sport take out there exists. And so therefore, no matter how anything pans out, someone always somewhere in the universe gets to say like, yo, I told you, even though it was totally a guess and totally unbasis. They just took a shot in the dark. But so just think, anytime something happens, someone probably jokingly predicted it. And how do you think that makes that person feel? Like, anything that happens, someone probably predicted it, not in like actually saying that they had a vision or something, but someone in jest predicted everything.
Just to say it.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
that's got to be,
then we should make
it's got to be rewarding
right
in some fashions and really unfortunate in others. Because for any disaster, I guarantee there's someone that predicted it the day before and their family's like, yo, what's the deal with this guy? Like, you got to be careful with what you predict. If you predict negative things and they come true, you got to be careful.
I bet Aaron Rodgers will quit the 49ers and go on to teach youth sports in inner city Oakland.
Ooh. All right, here we go. Yeah. Locked and loaded now.
Ayahuasca trips for everybody. Get him started on the straight and narrow. Get him going.
Absolutely. No better way to become a contributing member. Yep. No way to become a better contributing member of society when you get to age than completely corrupting them well before they are seen as an adult. So that's good.
So he's on the Niners, huh? That's
no
breaking news to me.
No, it's not. He's saying that's what he wants to do.
Oh, I thought it happened. Okay.
But like, actually, that's even funnier. Is that my buddy's saying called it when nothing's even happened yet. Like, you called his desire.
Yeah.
So that's even weirder. But no, like, predicting sports is really tough to me. Like, I want certain things to happen in sports, but predicting sports, there's no need for it. Like, I don't understand why people even make predictions. Like, it's like, well, whatever happens is going to happen. Now, that being said, as a person who does dabble in gambling, am I predicting that this event is going to happen? If I'm betting on it? Not necessarily. I've made bets that I'm like, this isn't going to hit.
It's like, what do you want?
I don't know.
How many times do you bet what you want to happen versus what you think will happen in sports betting? Like, where's your balance?
I won't.
Never what? Which way?
I'll never bet on what I want to happen. Ever.
Interesting.
I can't take double disappointment.
Emotionally hedging.
I'm a hedge. Yes, I emotional hedge. If I'm going to bet on outcomes, I'm emotionally hedging every time.
So you're working to support your enjoyment of sport because you're willing to pay the extra dollar for something.
Exactly. Yeah, because I'll place bets and I'm like, I hope this doesn't pay off. It's like it's I'm paying for wins. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't say I'm working towards to do this because I place small bets because turns out winning $50 on a $5 bet, I probably would feel the same as, actually, no, arguably I feel better because if I placed like a $500 bet in effort to win $25,000, sure, if it hits, that's great, but I'm miserable the entire time leading up to the bet and everything. So it's like, I can't handle it. I have to keep my bets very small so that they're just for entertainment value. And if I happen to win more money to place bets later on, that'll just keep the ride going.
So I did the responsible thing that I never thought I would do. And I went into my FanDuel Hall of Records and accounts to see how much I've bet.
Oh, no.
And what the career plus minus is. Guess how much money I've wagered on FanDuel since I've had it.
Ooh.
And I don't know, probably got it in New York, maybe a couple years ago.
Okay. So just wagered. How many bets have been wagered?
Yes.
I will say $6,300.
Dude, if you were on The Price is Right, you might be going up. You know what? The showcase.
Oh yeah?
$7,000 bet.
Yeah.
Which is
that's that's
hard to see
$1,400
that.
$5 bets, folks.
It's hard to see that. Just have it thrown in your face like that.
Yeah, it's a number.
And guess what my plus minus is?
Okay. I've got a shot in the dark. Minus. Let's see. I'll start with the minus. All right. So it was 7,000? 7,000, give or take? Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say minus 3,500. No. Minus 3,300.
We will find out right after this break.
Ah!
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen. Age of convenience. My daddy worked hard for this.
All right. There's got to be some kind of, there it is.
There we go. All right.
Minus $120.
Wow! What a boring concept.
That's not so bad, right? I was like,
that's amazing because you can now consciously try to break even, which will obviously inevitably make you fail that much worse.
This is what I'm doing. So since January 5th, like in the last month, I'm actually up $250 with like Super Bowl, some playoff bets or whatever, dabbling in the Four Nations. And I've been doing pretty well. And now that's put me like to under $100. So it must have been before the Super Bowl. I was probably like, whatever it was, 300 or 400 down lifetime. And now I'm like getting close to 100. So like, do I catch zero? Can I? And should I really force the issue? Should I really like chase it? Now it's the worst thing that I've ever done is looked up these numbers. Now I'm just gonna be chasing. It's like,
well, it's valuable if you're looking them up with a centered idea of like creating a plan. Like if you're like, okay, I'm at minus one. What is it? Minus one what?
120-ish, something like that.
Okay. So you could say like, I'm going to get to 100 up or like 300 down. Either way, those are my parameters for stopping. Like that's how you have to do it, is you have to make a front end and a back end to stop at.
So if I did get to plus $50 on FanDuel, do I just retire and say I took the house? From sports betting, retire.
You get to be one of those people that says like they never saw me coming.
Because even
2-year grind, 2-year grind to win $50.
But even paying 120 is a great deal. I'm like, I've gotten so much joy out of
how much,
betting.
yeah. Think of how
like
much
breaking
entertainment
it down,
you've gotten.
Like per month, I pay like $5 a month to gamble. It's like it's a great subscription. No, thank you, Rocket app. I'll leave it. I'll keep auto subbing to FanDuel.
Yeah, you got to assume it's only going to continue, right? That's exactly how these things work.
I know. So I don't know what my plan is. It's. I almost wish I didn't know, but the 7,000 seemed a little high. I was like, I probably need to dial that back, even though I know people do that on a whim. But that one hurt a little. I don't know what I thought it would be. I never thought about it, but once they show it to you, you're like, gosh, that's a decent portion of money that I make every year. Oh shit.
Easy.
And it could all be gone just like that.
Yeah, that's the joy of gambling, right? That's why it brings families together. I believe.
I have
that's
been
the
wanting
tagline
to-
for gambling.
Yeah, gambling. The theme park of derelicts. I've been wanting to. I've never been to the Mar-a-Lago. Is that the one? Del Lago. Mar-a-Lago's
Del-Lago.
Trump's Florida thing. Yeah. Del Lago. That's like 25 minutes away or something. But I've been wanting to. I've been watching YouTube videos of like 3-card poker and shit. And then I, did a little bit of blackjack when I was in Jersey with you. And I'm like, I just gotta just put cash in, just put like $200 in the wallet. That's it, and just go and play. Because I'm like, I don't know what it's just daytime. It's gonna be a lot of old retired people that are there. But just go have a day with it. So now I'm getting more. Now that I know I'm only 120 down lifetime.
Right now, I
gotta catch up. Yeah,
I'm actually really good at this, but also I need to catch up. Somehow I'm going to have both of those feelings like, hey, I'm not so bad at this, and I need to catch up.
Yeah, we'll forget about Atlantic City last year when we all lost $200 like in the first 30 minutes at the table. That doesn't count for anything. But
No, that was just that was training. It doesn't count if it was in a different state.
So what's the haps?
Well, let's see. So
How was
this
your
past
Valentine's
week
Day?
It was a delight. What a delight! What a great.
I know you're a big subscriber of Hallmark holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about that. Made went on to a wait list. We were figuring out where to grab a bite to eat, and went to this one place called Iron Hill, or we looked it up, and they have an online wait list, and there was nothing on the wait list. I'm like, oh wow, that's convenient. I'm like, all right, I'll put my name on the wait list, and we'll just drive over there. So we get there, and they're like, we're only taking reservations. I'm like, well, I'm on your online wait list. They're like, she's like, oh, I don't know. And I look on her little iPad where people's reservations are, and I see my name on there. I go, see, that's me.
Nice.
Right up top. I go right up top.
What?
And
It
she's
never
like,
happens that way.
She's like, oh, that's not supposed to, I don't know what that is. I go, you don't know what that is? I go, it's an online wait list. I go, that is clearly up and accepting stuff. Oh, no, we're only doing reservations. She's like, you can sit at the bar. I look over at the bar. There's not a single seat open. I go, no, I can't. What are you talking about? So, like, this is in front of probably like 10 other customers. I'm just calling this person out because she's trying to shoo me away. And I'm like, no.
What in her mind is a reservation?
I don't,
like, what does
I don't
that
know.
mean to them?
Right.
Oh.
But like,
Okay.
and then she goes like, well, yeah, we can't shut down the online reservation system. I go, you just told me you didn't know what it was. Cause she like, I'm like, you're changing it. And so, yeah, so I'm just like, I know I'm not going to get a table after all this, but I am choosing violence, as the kids say. It's like, no, we're going to have this interaction because you're so bad at, like, my problem is when I made the online wait list thing, you have to include like your name, phone number, email. So I'm like, if you were really watching your system, you would have seen that come up. You should have called or texted me and said, hey,
Right.
Online system's inaccurate. We're not taking them. Sorry, we can't accommodate you. Okay, such is life. I get it. Whatever. But like, it was just doubling down on really bad ways to handle the situation. And with me, that's the worst thing you can do because I'm like, well, I have to take the time to make you realize how fucking dumb you are and how bad you are at your job. Right. We all know. Anyone listening to this podcast knows, well, that's not going to stop. Like, now I have to be that guy. So, like, that was frustrating.
Did anybody like side? Was anybody like in with you, like sort of like, or were they just watching, observing?
No, I think they were just watching. I didn't go full blown. I was at about 70%. So, we left, and then we're looking at trying to get other places. The best was that we looked up one place, and the wait listed online was just under 3 hours. I'm like, I go, who's actually seeing that and being like, yeah, okay. Like, who goes like, yeah, sign me up. You know what? I will be hungry in 3 hours. This is perfect. Yeah. I have to actually go watch an entire NBA basketball game before dinner anyway. I just realized, so this is perfect for me.
No, you have to wait there for the 3. Or if you're not there, then you get taken off the list. They call every 15 minutes to make sure you're still there. Right. No drinks though.
So we eventually found a place and it was fine and everything, but yeah, I mean, Valentine's Day on a Friday. It's kind of a unfortunate concept to try to go out to eat and stuff because I'm not about like reservation type places and stuff like that. But yeah, overall it was fine. Everything panned out. Eventually, what did you do, Matt?
Well, thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
You know, I decided this year that I wouldn't really make a big deal out of it. So that's why I didn't I could have had like a few girlfriends by Valentine's Day, but I was like, I'll wait till afterwards just so I don't have to I don't want it to be like, you know, one of those things where it's just for the holiday. Yeah. I didn't want to put pressure on them or me. I was like, let's just wait till after to make this official or for me to even say hello to you or anything like that. You know, let's just start. Yeah. Let's keep it. Let's make it a springtime love affair. That's what we're both thinking. I can see that from your profile, definitely. I do love the at the store, obviously it's a big holiday. All the florals going, chocolate. I love the day of Valentine's Day, and then at 5:00 after work hours when it's just the store's riddled with dudes, just tons of them, walking through, and I happened to walk by the card aisle, and there was just 8 guys at 5:30, just staring at the wall,
I don't know what to do.
Whatever, the Russell Stover chocolate in a single rose, and then it's clearly the most last minute pickup thing. I was like, I guess at least they're doing something, but I was like, it's just hilarious. The charade of it is great because it's is it really meaningful? If you're thinking about it right before you get home, I don't know, does it matter? Who cares? Just bring home nothing and say oh, I didn't bring anything home, but I could have. I mean, I thought about it right before I got home. So just so you know, I did think about it, and it is the thought that counts. So,
ooh, interesting argument there.
Yeah, I did think about it. Did I get you anything? No, but here's what I thought of. Okay, I thought about I thought about your favorite food. I didn't know what it was, but I thought of a few things it could be. I thought of some restaurants that we could go to. I thought about maybe even buying us a trip to, Fiji or something like that.
I thought of the following things, and it's just a list of things.
Here's a blank card. I was just thinking about things that I could write down in there. I was thinking a lot of things. So
all of them were really good too. You should have seen them.
Yeah. If your love language is thinking, I'm it. I am part of it.
I'm crushing it.
But I didn't. There was a bunch of weird work stuff going down this week, and then I sort of knew it was Valentine's Day, but didn't. My big contribution to the store was I thought it would be fun if we could take it back to Candygram days or old school novelty Valentine's cards. So I got a bunch from the store, and we put them out on the break room table. So there was Minecraft, Jurassic Park, puppies, Dora. I don't even remember, something like all in that, SpongeBob, so people could put them out. But then I couldn't figure out the language to use to say what you do with these, because I didn't want to say here, grab one of these to give to your secret work crush. That would have been probably not good for my business.
Yeah, let's really amp this thing up. Yeah. Give this to your favorite work crush, and I'll see you soon, because you will be sent to HR.
Yeah, put it under the windshield wipers of your work crush, and then tell them you'll see them later. But I was I decided on fill one out, have some fun, and give it to your work bestie, which I thought was very clean, very and by all accounts, no complaints yet. So I was this is a dangerous game that we're playing that could go south. And then if it does, I will say something oh yeah, that makes sense. I guess I made my bet on that one.
You know what? In retrospect, that makes all of the sense.
Yeah. But yeah, then didn't really do much. When I did, honestly, I was like, I'm just gonna go. I was treating it like a regular Friday night, so I was like, maybe I'll just go out and get some food. Everywhere was packed, so I was like, oh, this sucks. So I ended up going to, just like this music bar. Club had a band playing, so I went there just for like, I don't know, like an hour. Got a couple of drinks, just vibed, danced for a bit, and then. Then went home. Just a regular Valentine's Day. I mean, I would be down for another Valentine's Day. I haven't earnestly done a Valentine's Day in a while. Most of mine have ended poorly. I think there was one where the girlfriend I had at one point got so drunk she threw all the chocolate strawberries in her own car and got mad. She just was like, that's just the way that's the kind of fun she would have when she had some drinks in her. Because she just all of a sudden forgot that she was sad and mad. And I just sat there and absorbed it. And I was like, this sucks. And be one of the, I mean, not mad at me, just mad at the world. And well, then me, I was part of the world. Okay. That kind of thing. So I was like, that was fun. I was like, God, I wish I didn't spend $100 on the lamb. Makes this, and the strawberry, this is, did not part of the plan. But we're no longer together, but she's married and probably has, hopefully a better fit, in her life. Probably one of the better ones I ever had in Austin was like a, oyster deal. Maybe the one and only time I ever had oysters, like raw oysters and champagne. Not bad, I'll say. I guess it was supposed to be romantic. I don't know. It's like one of those things. Like, I'm okay with like excuses to spend a lot of money on a food thing or something like that. Like, that's my ideal Valentine's Day, just to go do an experience thing, versus all the presents and stuff of it. But I don't know. I forgot. I'm out of reps. I need to practice. You know what? Maybe next year. Guess I might just have to try a little.
So, not only was it Valentine's Day, but in the area down here, it was also the Eagles championship parade.
I saw that it was on Valentine's Day, yeah.
Yeah.
Bold decision.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch any of it. But who is it for? Is that parade for the players? Is it for the parade watchers? Is it for children? Is it for adults? Because everyone's hammered. The people in the parade and the people watching the parade.
By all accounts, it is a drunk fest. Yeah,
are all drunk. Fest. So I'm like, I don't know what. But it's also hilarious how much organization and resources it takes to have a parade. And how much it cripples your infrastructure for a certain amount of time.
Especially on a work day.
Run it down the major road on a work day in a huge city. Do we need parades that much? Why don't you have a event at the stadiums or something? I don't know that a parade. I don't know how I feel about parades. I mean, I'm not against having a good time, but I can't help but think of how much goes into, how much has to be sacrificed for a parade to happen in 2025. Having been
just like any
countless, having been in countless parades, I can tell you, if I was never ever standing in another parade, I'd be okay with that. I have played too many patriotic songs while marching in parades for 7 years of band and to ever want to be in a parade again.
Yeah. Oh, those are the worst. The only fun parade I was ever in was when I was on the hockey team and we got to rollerblade through it in the 90s. Very cool.
Oh, man. Very cool. Mighty Ducks too.
Yeah. But I like the idea of the stadium party. Get some bands. Everybody can get drunk there safely. Because even when a town has like a marathon and you forget and you're like, what the fuck? Why is this closed? And it's like, oh, it's a marathon in 4 days. It's like, what? Why did I do it now? Doesn't make sense. It always like happens. I don't know. Like, and you know, somebody like the EMTs are extra busy. They just gotta be from people hurting themselves or each other or getting alcohol poisoning by 1 p.m. That's always fun.
Right.
I think it's way more fun to be a player because you're on a float, just crushing Bud Lights, and at the end somebody drives you to wherever you need to go, and you don't have to be part of the riffraff of the city.
That's true.
Where they all have to be part of it. If you're in town, you're just surrounded by a bunch of people, and it's probably fun for a little bit. But again, if I could teleport there, fantastic. But not, and maybe if you don't win, like, I guess Philly won a few years ago. Maybe the first time they won it, I could see a parade, but like, if you win more than one every 5 years, is it like, do you got to go balls out on the parade?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, but now it's official, Now we're officially done with this year. And it's always annoying when they will inevitably, week 1 next year, Eagles, actually, the schedule's not out, but whomever the Eagles play next year, they'll say they're the defending champions, which is inaccurate, or else the belt would be on the line every game the Eagles play until they're dethroned.
Champions. Ooh.
They are just the most recent champion crowned. They won last year. You can say like that. You can say they won last year, but they are not. They don't have to defend their belt every match. So like every game, then every regular season game, they should call it a non-title match. Any game that the Eagles play, they should call it a non-title match. Because if they were champions, you should be able to dethrone the champion. Every other sport, like individual sports and stuff. So team sports, I think, need to start doing that. Let's not have tournaments, or like you can have a tournament. How about this? How about the NFL playoffs are a tournament? It's more like King of the Ring. It's a tournament that all the non-champion teams, all the non-Eagle teams play, and whoever wins that tournament gets to play the Eagles in the championship game. Stuff like that. So I think the Eagles need to have championship matches. They get to play less They get to have less games throughout the year, but they have to defend their belt against teams.
Ooh, I like it. Or you could do like maybe a sort of combination. You know how like parliaments dissolve and it's not necessarily on a set schedule. Like they just declare.
That was a lot different. You're like, you know how parliaments dissolve? I'm like, oh, geez.
Parliament. Speaking of sport.
Right. Speaking
football,
of sport.
but they can like dissolve at any time. So maybe like, and call for a new leadership. So maybe if a team, we set a bar, like if a team wins 5 games in a row, they can declare the championship dissolved and they get a shot at the title. Like you got to win a certain amount and then you can have your shot, like that, sort of like individualistic, Mm-hmm. It just runs all year. There's no more seasons. It's like you got to win 5 in a row and then you get a shot at the champ. And if there's not, the champ just reigns.
Rosters can be like 150 guys, like whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
So every team, it's like, oh, are you the starting quarterback? I'm one of the starting quarterbacks. There's like 7 of us. But yeah, like, I think that's where, see, and you want to know what? That's where the real money is, Goodell. Football every week.
Never
forever.
Stops. Never stops.
Forever. It's like WWE. It's like Monday Night Raw, baby. It's like, it just goes on. When? Forever. It's been on for like 30 years.
Yeah. Like one of those UFL teams. That's the thing now. Like if they win 5 games in a row, they get to challenge any NFL team to take their spot in the league.
Oh, relegation concepts and stuff?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Dude. We're figuring it out.
A lot of opportunities.
That doesn't make sense. That's made up. That's just, we can't make things up about a game that was already made up. Doesn't make any sense. No, this is the way it is. This is the way it happens. You have to change small things every year for 100 years to make it fully unrecognizable to the first year that it ever happened. I think we got something here. Dear Roger.
And
also,
as long as it makes
you can
money.
beat up your girlfriend You know what? Let's stop. You know what? He wants it. He wants it part of the game. Like, why does he gotta? He doesn't want it out of the game at all. It's like, just change it. Change it to what you want, Roger. Well, you have some of our ideas, and you can keep some of your ideas too. You know, we'll meet you halfway.
Jeez.
All right, we won't be on ESPN anymore.
I watched one of your hot recs.
Oh, which one?
I watched American Movie.
Mm-hmm.
That is something.
What, isn't it?
I
haven't rewatched it since we
so
talked
like
about it. I
I'm
need
like
to go watch it, but yeah.
I'm like this has to be a mockumentary, and it's not. It's just the people involved in this documentary are so amazingly characters that you like have opinions on.
Like no self-awareness at all. Like not even a shred of irony in who they are, what they're doing.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a very, very odd thing to watch, but an easy watch. I really don't have much to comment on it other than like I think there's an element of like how it goes to show you like you could make a documentary about anyone and probably make it decent. Like if your goal is for like funny. Mm-hmm. Like through editing and stuff, I feel like you could make any documentary because people are weird. Like it's all about like people's nuances. Like if you interacted with them, I guess you'd probably think they're just as like entertaining. But like, I'm sure the things they say, the things people do and say in documentaries, obviously, I think editing of documentaries is the biggest thing, right? Like you can change the tone of something by simply cutting off the beginning and end and putting in certain excerpts. Like that's the cool part about like editing movies and stuff like that. So like documentaries, I feel like there had to have been some sense of like someone editing that film had to have had a sense of humor. They had to have, because yes, the people in it aren't trying to be funny, but the way scenes are cut and placed into the movie is funny. It's so someone has a sense of humor the way they built that documentary. But
it's all about storyboarding. Like creating the story from the film. Or from whatever's recorded.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You could tell a bunch of stories. That's the thing. Whenever you listen to documentary filmmakers, even like Peter Berg, the 30 for 30s, or people that do a lot of this stuff, it's like you get so much. It's like, what do you want the story to be? Because you can go in multiple ways for it.
Yeah. A couple other things I got into. Well, I'd see that I want to watch the SNL 50 thing. That's tonight.
Dude, that's on my list.
Sunday
Let's talk
night.
about SNL.
Okay, let's talk about SNL.
So I saw they obviously had like that music version the other day, or a show at a theater where they did a lot of like the music tracks, and like, I mean, everybody in the crowd's famous as fuck, and you know, it's like it's gonna be standing room only at studio, whatever it's called, 8H or something like that. But I was just trying to like think about the impact of SNL on our lives, obviously coming up at the same time, and what do you? I don't know. What sticks out to you? Like, what do you remember? Like, in a way, I remember like the earliest memory I have with it is like a summer day when it was Comedy Central came around. Comedy Central was huge for us in the early to mid 90s because they showed a lot of the old SNLs, and they had these marathons. And I remember like my dad and I watching like the Chippendale scene on there with Patrick Swayze, Chris Farley, all timer, but just dying at that. But then just, I don't know if it was on after school every day. Like there'd be a couple episodes or something like that. But it was weird because in my mind it was like, oh, these are the old episodes, even though they were from like 5 years ago or something like that. If that. And then that was also as the new cast coming out was like the Will Ferrell, Sherry O'Terry's, Molly Shannon's of the world. So that was like our probably proper like tween class of people to watch. But it's a lot of that, you know, the early to mid sticks out. Farley's, Mike Myers, Dana Carvey's, and seeing Dana Carvey's stand-up special on the Comedy Central every time you come home from school. And then Norm Macdonald jokes around OJ, like that thing was going on. Like that was probably my first, you know, impact.
Yeah, definitely that. The fact that they were on Comedy Central was huge because Comedy Central didn't run a ton of stuff, so it was just like incessant hammering of that early '90s SNL group. So that definitely I think got us in and prepared for all of the Sandler-esque movies and stuff like that. But a weird thing I'll always simulate because I don't know I don't know how much SNL I was watching on Saturday nights. I think in college, if I wasn't out and about, I did it, and then maybe after college, I watched a lot of like Saturday
right.
night stuff.
Because you had to be connected to culture a little bit in news and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's an odd concept to have it be so prominent for something that airs from 11:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. Like that's remarkable in and of itself. Is like how do you stay relevant when that's your program slot? Like it just breaks all logic. Now, one thing that stuck with me is that our senior year, we were in our advanced government class. In fall of in the first half of senior year, so it had been the fall of 2000, and we were supposed to be in the class with the teacher, Mr. Corvo, but the first day of school came around and they're like, Mr. Corvo's sick, so we're gonna have a sub. And then it was like, then we're gonna have a sub for like 2 weeks, and it was this guy, Mr. Angier. And Mr. Angier was just a substitute teacher, a run-of-the-mill substitute teacher for Auburn City School District. And then Mr. Corvo's return just kept getting delayed. Spoiler alert, he never came back, and the man unfortunately passed away. But Mr. Angier was a substitute teacher that taught our class the entire semester, or the entire half that we had, 3 marking periods.
He did. He gave it the old college try.
He had no idea what to do. It was advanced government. He had no idea, like there was no curriculum for him to really follow. So folks, we were literally, Mr. Angier was just making it up as we went along. Some days he'd be like, all right, guys, I'm going to work on what we're going to do next. I'm going to work on what we're going to do next week, but just, work on whatever you want. We were playing cards and stuff, like, because there was nothing to do. But I remember one aspect, the Saturday Night Live aspect, is that fall of 2000, we had an election that went awry, and we didn't have anyone elected. Yeah. So SNL ran with the Al Gore and George Bush, the Bush Gore stuff. And so Mr. Angier let us watch it in class because it was talking in jest, but talked about a lot of political stuff. So we had that entire campaign where SNL was hammering Bush versus Gore every weekend, so we could watch stuff off of those. Yeah, the Daryl Hammond as Al Gore and Will Ferrell as George Bush. But yeah, that's one weird aspect of SNL that I remember is I associate it with advanced government because of the election.
That we were, I wish I remembered more about that class because there was the kid who shouldn't have been advanced anything.
Steve,
probably at advanced something? Planned Parenthood or something like that.
Mr.
Angier, what a book!
What a book!
What a book!
And then Mr. Angier
was like,
"Okay, Steve, sure."
The white kid who would occasionally do the cornrows, didn't he? Once in a while, do that. Jankos. I don't know if they were Jankos or just big Old Navy jeans. I don't remember
Blonde
what his
goatee.
vibe was. Yeah.
Chin goatee.
Just ratty. Everything about every part of his hair was ratty. It was just gross. Yeah. Wow. I fucking forgot about that. It's interesting that the institution still exists. I just watched that the movie, the Saturday Night movie.
I watched it too.
It's basically the night of the first episode, and it's obviously hyperbolic. The time frames don't line up, and I don't know how much of it is true, but I think it gets into the chaos and the energy of trying to put together a show, especially and I don't know how much of that is true either. The possibility they might not even have been on the air, but it felt so avant-garde. It actually did feel like counterculture in that. I don't think it was a great movie per se. No. I enjoyed watching it. I probably wouldn't watch it again. It's entertaining. Yeah. And it's weird because now SNL really is culturally relevant in a way, and it's very much in the news. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, I forgot, but they were kind of talking about how is it good or bad that SNL in the last, I don't know, 20 years, maybe even since, I guess you would say, I don't know, was Tina Fey on the show? Maybe she didn't. Maybe she came back for it, but was doing the Sarah Palin stuff, and then Sarah Palin actually came on. Like, do we like when people come on that are part of the joke come back and are in on it? I don't know. I can't decide. Like, I guess it's cute for them to come on and acknowledge it, but I don't know if they're really into it, and I would just rather SNL have the balls and just skewer people. But then, do we use the celebrities for it or not, or just use the cast members? And that was kind of the thought. Like, do you feel like the cast members are as relevant now as they used to be, since they have like so many celebrities come in and do these spots now, or these big characters or big real life folks? I don't know, because I think the class of like Kristen Wiig, Jason Sudeikis, Andy, who else? Who else is in that group besides Sandberg and
Like
Portlandia,
Will
whatever.
Forte.
Dude. Yeah, Forte. Yeah, all those guys. That seems like, looking back, that seems like it was all time, and now they've been like struggling to kind of catch. I mean, they're always like relevant, but I feel like it's because celebrities come on and do different impressions and stuff like that. But I would like it to get back to, the cast member stuff and them just taking chances with it. And I think this year's been pretty good from what I've seen. I'm not one of those people that's always like, SNL sucks since I was 12. Like, I'm like, it's always going to be hit or miss. Like, whatever, you're going to find stuff you like and stuff you don't like. But
It's the same people that are like, LeBron's nothing compared to Jordan. You're like, yes, we know the past was good. The present is bad. Everything is better how it used to be. But like, it's also, if SNL's not funny to me now, okay, yeah, I'm not its crowd. Like, the problem is like, if someone who watched SNL in the 70s was like, I don't find it funny anymore. Yeah, probably. Like, don't be surprised that you are not pop culture. You are not counterculture. You are culture. Like, you are not who they are aiming to entertain in any way, shape, or form. So accept that. So that's the tough part, is I don't think it's our place to analyze if SNL is decent or not. Now, the tough part is that the people, I think it's, or do you think it's because of how viewing works now with streaming and everything? Did they change? And they are like saying, well, no, we can't get young people because young people just don't want to watch live television on a Saturday evening. So like, I wonder if they are trying to play to an older crowd because they're like, it's just not how the world works anymore.
And YouTube's huge for them too. So it's like, but YouTube, you'll see like the biggest hits of the night on the next day, and you might miss out on the the ones that they tried. The sketches that are in like the last 20 minutes of the episode, they're like borderline cutting room floor, but taking a chance. Like there's where you find those, but those rarely, get viral. So maybe it misses out. It's sort of like listening to an album versus like just picking out the singles. Like, It would have been cool. And I did appreciate that about the movie too, the Saturday Night movie, where it's like, he wanted it to feel like you were out on the town. Like, it has the energy so that you're up and you're watching it, and you never know what's going to happen, the characters you're going to meet, who you're going to see, or what's going to happen. And as like a whole episode with the music, I think it can feel that way. I probably do myself a disservice by not checking in. I do watch full episodes here and there now. Like, if it's a particular host, like I'll check in on it on Peacock the next day, because I can't stay up that late. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they'll do with the 50. There's a lot, and everybody's kind of had their own ride with it. One of my favorite things of all time, and kind of informed my sensibilities from the mid 90s, was Jack Handey, Deep Thoughts. Remember that?
Man.
Or just between like interstitial thing between a couple segments, they'd have like, and now Deep Thoughts from Jack Handey. It would just scroll these images of what he was saying over the backdrop of some nature scene or something like that. Yep. It'd always be really fucked up or weird or dry or not funny at all. But to him, they were like fucking hilarious. And I got this book years ago at Half Price Books, but it came out. It's Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey. Yeah. So I have this in my life. So I'll just be like, It's just like a daily reader kind of thing. You can check in on different quotes and things. So I don't know. Some of these are dumb. Like if you go parachuting and your parachute doesn't open and your friends are all watching you fall, I think a funny gag would be to pretend you were swimming. Like, yeah, this is here's a good. If you saw two guys named Hambone and Flippy, which one would you think liked dolphins the most? I'd say Flippy, wouldn't you? You'd be wrong though. It's Hambone.
Yes.
Like I remember this shit and just being like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, I love it's just like totally like subverts your expectation of any kind of comedy. And it's like I think it paralleled really nicely to Norm Macdonald's SNL stuff, and probably informed a lot of like what like Jeselnik and they all of them do now. All of them, not all of them. Rarely, few guys can actually pull it off. Lori got offended that I used the word puke, but to me, that's what her dinner tasted like. I don't know. It's too bad that whole families have to be torn apart by something as simple as wild dogs. So yeah,
Oh my God.
I just fucking love Deep Thoughts. He actually wrote, Jack Handy's a real person. And like he wrote a novel, and I don't know if I have it. It's called something like Honolulu, something in Honolulu. It's like sort of comic travelogue thing, and he just wrote a sequel. But you can actually go onto his website and buy it, and ask him to sign it and put anything you want into the book for like not much more than the book. So
for not much money.
Yeah, not much. Just buy the book, please. I'll put anything you want in there. But I always like that kind of like, and I don't know if it's a thing of like it's not supposed to be funny. That's why I like it. I just like hearing things that I didn't expect, and it's a lot of these. But these are still, I still enjoy them. It's not like you get through it the first time and then you know it and then it's not funny anymore. It's still like well written, just a little jab, and it just, I don't know. I like it, and that's all that matters. So,
Sure.
but SNL has missed out on like, you know,
Jizz, like cum shot.
they have like parted with some of the greatest comedy minds. Like, because I was thinking, what's the competition for SNL, and why hasn't there been like Mad TV came out and Living Color had its heyday,
Yeah.
but it still exists. And but you self-select what you want. Like people like Whitest Kids You Know, or I Think You Should Leave, that kind of thing. That's not, SNL is not threatened by it because it's not their vibe. They're not trying to like make the most avant-garde sketches anymore that go in a different direction at every point. Otherwise, they would still have Tim Robinson around and would want him to do that, I guess, and he would have crushed it.
Well, and that was the interesting thing with the Detroiters is that Lauren Michaels is the executive producer of Detroiters, or was the executive producer. So I'm curious about that. Like if he was like, "Hey, listen, what you do, Tim, is great, but it is just not SNL," and then they did Detroiters. So I don't know if Lauren has any attachment to I Think You Should Leave or not, but I found it interesting when I watched Detroiters that he's listed as the executive producer.
Dude, you sent me that trailer for the movie. I just saw the title. It was called Friendship, and I was like, why is he sending? Oh, is this like, I wonder if this is about guys doing a podcast or something. And I was like, oh, they're going to steal our idea. And then I watched it, and it was not that. It's Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd, and Tim like finding his way into this neighborhood of friends, but then it gets weird. It's an A24 thing, so I'm like, is it going to be scary? I have no, it looks really weird.
I have no idea, but it really mashed up a bunch of things that I enjoy. So I'm like, I have to know what this is because it's A24, Tim Robinson, and Paul Rudd. I don't even care what you're giving me, but I'll take it.
And we will have to go to the movies for that because that comes out in May, and that's when I will be visiting again.
There you go.
Movie
if we can
date.
catch the weekend that it'll be at the movie theater.
I know. Memorial Day weekend, all the movies should be out by then. Yeah, check that out. I'm curious to know what other people think, but it's fucking weird. It looks fun, weird.
I also finally started, I got 3 episodes into a show that a lot of people have recommended on Apple TV, Severance.
Mm-hmm. Don't know. I mean, I know of it, but...
So it's an interesting concept. The general premise is that the severance is a procedure, and what it is that it puts a like kind of stopper and a divider in your brain so that when you enter in your workspace, you only have your work consciousness and you don't know anything about your personal life. And in your personal life, when you walk out of the building, you only have your personal memories and you don't know about your work life.
What?
So yeah, I'm a few episodes in. It's still pretty hazy.
I want that one so bad.
It's confusing, but I think it could be good. But I don't know. I don't know. The jury's still out on it. I'm hoping it turns itself into like something that I can really sink my teeth into. But it's an interesting concept. But like they broke the concept right off the bat. So like the first episode, you find out that there's a guy who no longer works for the company that Adam Scott, the main character, works with. But he got out and he's like trying to like tell Adam Scott that something's going on at the work spot because you can't. I don't know. It's very psychological.
Sure, because not everybody's part of this. Yeah.
Correct. So it's. I mean, I don't even know why I brought it up because I don't really understand it yet. I can't recommend it yet. So we'll see.
I've never watched any Apple TV thing. And I know you already recommended Sudeikis, the soccer show, whatever it was called, that everybody loves universally. It seems to be. I keep meaning to
Ted
like
Lasso.
one day like just get Apple and then just rip through like all the shit on there that everybody loves. I did get Netflix again last month to watch some shit. You know, I started too. It's kind of a cute show that I don't think gets much fanfare. I don't never hear anybody talking about it, but it's pretty funny. Is AP Bio? I just watched the first season of that. With Glenn Howerton, Patton Oswalt, and I'm like, that's just a great like put it on at night show, and I like it because it sort of executes on almost like the sitcom-y level of like an Office or something like that or whatever, a Scrubs sort of like workplace thing. But it's just, it's just edgy enough for NBC TV, probably. They do have some fun concepts. So it strikes the balance of kind of weird. There's some scenes. There's one where he's like talking to one of the students' moms during a PTA day. And then he's like sort of hitting on her. And then she like gives him his number. And then it cuts to like the whole class of parents and kids were watching the whole time awkwardly and just out of nowhere. And I was like, that's a good cut. It was good. So they do some like, they have some good gags and stuff like that. But nobody I know, I mean, I don't know. I might, if I don't watch anymore, I'll be all right. But
everyone from Sunny does side stuff. Like Rob McElhenney does Mythic Quest, which I have not yet seen. Charlie Day does more movies, obviously. And then Caitlin Olsen did The Mick, and now she does the new one, which the name escapes me, but it got renewed for a second season.
Apparently it's wildly successful, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. It got reviewed really well, but The Mick, I thought The Mick was funny as heck. Like
Really?
that's on Hulu. I think there's like 2 seasons. It was really funny. I liked it a lot. Up there with like Happy Endings was another one that I felt like got cut real short but they had a phenomenal cast. But yeah, I mean, it's cool that a project like It's Always Sunny can have everyone being successful outside of it. Because when you have a ensemble based show, you always wonder like, well, does this work because they just work together so well? But all of their side projects, no one has failed outside of Sunny. So that's pretty impressive. And Danny DeVito just kind of does whatever Danny DeVito wants to do.
Say, Danny's killing it with the Jersey Mike subs.
80 degree. Oh, it's true. Yeah, Jersey
project
Mike's.
is killer.
Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
Right. Our favorite little
I like
bridge
how all the
troll.
commercials are now like, wait, you're my freshman year roommate. It doesn't matter. This is just a commercial. I just like that thing. There's another one where he's at dinner. It's like, wait, Danny DeVito, you were my brother the whole time? Like pulls off a mask. It's like, it doesn't matter. This is just a commercial to sell Jersey Mike's. I'm like, that's a great segue. Just do that.
Right.
I can tell you right. It doesn't matter.
You're right.
At all.
Nothing does matter. I don't need explanation.
Yeah. You know what commercial I saw on football, and now I see the product when I'm walking around Wegmans that is really disgusting to me. I think it was like, I It was like, yeah, it was like a Minute Maid lemonade thing. But I guess it's a legality thing, but they say like Minute Maid lemonade juice drink. And I just thought the words juice drink is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard of in my world. And it's
So like, yeah, you can't
juice
even
drink. And
consider
it's like,
yourself a juice.
yeah, you can't call
Like
it
that,
legally
you have to
juice.
be a side. Yeah, we legally can't call it juice.
Call it juice drink. And I was like, that's disgusting. That makes me want to vomit. Like, that's already makes my mouth feel like viscous and sugary.
Right.
It's like, I don't even know. Does Kool-Aid fall into juice drink territory? Does it have to have like 2% juice or what? But
Right.
to put that into a commercial, and the word it was printed in words, so it said juice drink, and I was like, that's the worst impression you could ever give. Just call it a drink. Just call it yellow drink. I don't know, something. Juice drink is so gross. It makes me want to vomit. I hated it so much.
Like, imagine being like, choose our like hamburgers made with real meat food. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Meat food? The fuck's meat food?
And I've heard somebody talk about like, I guess Sunny D has seltzers, and like, they taste so good. And I'm like, I can't imagine that's true at all. I can't imagine a world. Have you tried them? Sunny D seltzers?
No, I haven't, but I have seen them. But you know, good for us for as a society taking Sunny Delight, a very '90s kid drink, and being like, we're gonna market this to that exact age group. The people who thought Sunny D was a good idea as kids, now we're gonna market booze to them as Sunny D, because I don't know if Sunny D's still popular, but when it hit the shelves when we were in like middle school, it was like finally. It was weird too because the marketing was odd because it was like all the kids opening up the fridge. Everyone knows the whole like the okay, we got soda, purple stuff, OJ, and Sunny D. It looks like kids just got in from like a rousing activity outside, like sports and stuff. When I'm hot and sweaty, I don't want fucking like weird orange juice
Orange
type
sugar drink?
Yeah, what the shit? Who like what? Like it didn't make sense. It was like, do you love orange juice, but you don't love the natural juice part of it? Well, then we're going to make this orange juice stuff that's kind of like orange juice, but it's not. It's if we take the natural aspects of orange juice and kick them to the curb and give you more
It is
artificial
shelf-stable.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know how that became a thing. Like it's up there with Miracle Whip. Like, did we need Sunny D as a society? And then they bring it back and put booze in it, and you're just like, well, then where's the other drinks? Where's the other 90s kids drinks with booze? Give me Surge, and give me Ecto Cooler, and
Well, you had those Ecto Cooler beers, didn't you?
It's true. Ecto
Somebody did
Cooler
it.
from Ship Bottom. Remember when juice boxes the box became boring, so we started getting like Squeeze-Ems, like the Kool-Aid bursts.
Mondos.
And Squeeze It.
Or, yeah,
and
Kool-Aid
Mondos.
Bursts. Yeah.
Yeah. All of those things when it was like, are you sick and tired of drinking out of a box? No, I didn't really. Well, now you don't have to. Okay, thanks, I guess. Or like Capri Suns.
Sick of your boring old fruit snacks.
Yeah,
That don't have splooge juice in them.
If you're sick of boxes and the simplicity of drinking out of a jukebox, you could go to Capri Sun like a psycho.
Oh, God. I love spending 10 minutes trying to drink my juice. It's so fun.
What
and
is
less
the
of
point?
it, too. I know.
Right?
They were
What
so
was the
cool, though. It was
point?
like a status symbol.
We were not a Capri Sun family. No. We'd sometimes have the squatty Hawaiian punches.
Oh, yeah.
Hawaiian punch came in a box, not a rectangle, a box.
Yeah.
Like a
That's
square
red sugar
box.
drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I want to ask a question. We can end with this. I just saw
Okay.
an Ask Reddit, and I thought it was fun.
Okay.
From user Miss Batty.
Sure.
What non-sexual thing do you constantly fantasize about? It's hard because it's mostly sexual. It's all boners and jizz. So that's all I think about. So in between those, yeah, it's like, what do I fantasize about? And some...
I don't know. That's really tough.
It's hard to think
I
fantasize.
don't
'Cause
know.
it's like overall, like, yeah, would I love to have $1 billion? Like, sure, but I don't like
Right.
constantly fantasize about it. One that's really been sticking with me lately, again, getting back to basics and more utilitarian, much like teleportation, which I do still fantasize about, is I would love to see just without corrective lenses. I think about that all the time. It would be so wonderful to wake up in the middle of the night and see, or to fall asleep watching a TV show, not deciding, should I take my glasses off now, or wait, or do I sort of want to see it? Can I just listen to this and get it, or do I? Because then I got to put my glasses back on if I'm sort of falling asleep and then a scene comes on that I want to watch. Like, that'd be a wonderful life. And I know it just requires surgery, but it costs money. It's like I basically have to invest whatever $4,000 or $5,000 in my life to get it done, and then, but still, I do fantasize about it. It only gives me a half chub, so it is not sexual at all.
Sure. At all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I have that. I think mine is like to not have, I don't know, like generic, I think generic lotto stuff, because I'll play like the actual lottery time to time, Mega Millions. And like, I don't know if it's stressful or like calming, just to like be like, okay, if I had this much money, how could I divvy it? How would I spend it? What could I invest in? What could I like, and like, it can almost like preoccupy you. But yeah, I guess that literally is it, because, money solves a lot of problems. So it's like that'd be nice. I get Vision does too. It would be delightful to not need corrective lenses, like, as Nick Papagiorgio would say, corrective lenses, I do not require them.
Where do you fall on the spectrum of going back in time, knowing what you know now? Do you ever have any of those? Those come up a few times a year or once in a while? Like, I sort of do here and there, but it's weird because
I think
but I wouldn't be that person, or I don't know.
Yeah, it all comes back to like high school and beyond. I think as a little kid, you don't really give a shit. Like, naivety is fine.
That was great. yeah.
But like, I think once you hit high school and you realize that fear of like social anxieties and like fear of how you're going to be perceived by people and stuff like that could have been easily overcome. Not easily, but like simply. Obviously, it's not easy to do at that age, but like, like you could make decisions knowing that it doesn't matter, and knowing that
Stakes
it doesn't
weren't
matter
as
would
big
make you, like
thought.
knowing that it doesn't matter would have made you the most confident, and therefore most, like, you could not rule the school, but like you could just go through complacent. You could go through so complacent, knowing like how little stuff matters, that your brain thinks are everything, and like I don't know, you could skate by. Taking that into college, you could understand what you need to do better. I mean, obviously, I revisit my college years all the time. I still have nightmares related to. I do. I still have nightmares like
true nightmares.
Yeah.
Or like.
No.
Whoa.
No. I like while I sleep, I still have nightmares from time to time about going to like class when there's like a final exam and not having been to class the entire year.
Dude, I have that one too.
My skipping, well, because I had a shitty college experience and I did poorly and made poor decisions left and right. And I still have nightmares 20 years later about how poorly I handled my college experience. And I just assume it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life because I can't let it go. Like, it sucks.
Dude, the one where you're in. Mine's always like an English class with like a female teacher, and I don't know who it is, but like I'm showing up on the last day, and it's like I hope she doesn't notice that I wasn't here the whole time and didn't do anything like that one.
Yep.
I wonder where that comes from because I did, I mean, I went through college at a regular pace, but I wonder if it didn't like. Where does it come from for me then? Like, did I pick the wrong thing? Did I like? Could I have done better or chosen differently? Or then, of course, there's always forgot the locker combination. That's a truly heinous nightmare. At high school,
never had that
beating
one.
that one. That's bad. I don't like that one. You show up and it's like, I know I had it on this card and now I forgot it and now I don't know where I am and where
Remember
kind of
that?
thing.
Remember that? Like the first day of class when you'd get handed like that index card that told you what locker was yours.
Exactly. That's what's
and
in my
what
dream.
the combo was.
Yes, and I lost it.
So
again,
weird.
perpetually.
And I lost it. Here's where
I
you
don't
can
know where that
stop to
one
get your
comes from
books
either.
in that. Here's where you can stop to change books in your 4 minutes that you have between class, but you have
I
one
know.
locker, and this school is gigantic.
Yeah.
But here's where you can go.
Either run to class or carry around a 20-pound backpack. with
Oh,
everything in it.
there's also no running in the halls.
Just
to amp it up.
God, don't forget to cover that book with a shopping bag. We got to use these for another
bag.
20 years. The information will still be relevant. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a history
It'll still
book.
be good. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no. For history books, it's fine. It's more of the advanced government stuff like that. It'd be like, oh, you gotta cover your book. It's like, why? This is already out of date.
Yeah. It still says someday women will get the right to vote. Maybe.
That's fine.
If they're on their best behavior.
Just take your
Everything's-
pen,
If everything's
cross it
okay
out.
at home. Yeah.
Yeah, cross it out and put that happened or something. Like you're allowed to update your book.
Yeah.
All right. That was a good episode. That was a lot of things.
A lot of things. Certainly was an episode. We talked money, nightmares, SNL, history, soda, OJ, purple stuff, Sunny D.
Yep.
So that'll do. Hey, have a great week, everybody. Hope your Valentine's was awesome. And if not, then let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Or whatever. Okay. You shouldn't. Don't do that.
Oh, go for it. Leave your phone number.
Yeah. Drop your digits in the comments.
Yep.
Everybody knows I'm good about responding.